Hello everyone, it's that time of the week again. Today is Friday, January 11th, 2019. It's time for the weekly Bitcoin Cash Rundown with myself as usual, Roger Veer, Corbin Fraser.
I'm back again.
Asuka desu. Komugi desu.
And for those of you that don't know, des means like am or is or
So I seem to make it a little bit polite.
Yeah, so if you want to say who you are in Japanese, you just say whatever your name is, des.
No, it's not death. It's desu.
Desu, D-E-S-U, yeah. So did I say it like death?
Desu. Asuka
No,
desu.
Roger des. Okay, anyhow, on to the news. Now that the Japanese lessons are done, Bitcoin Cash ATM machines are spreading across the world.
Yay!
More than 1,400 locations across the world. That's a lot of locations. So, according to data from Coin ATM Radar, the U.S. has the highest number of crypto ATMs with 2,493, which is 55%. 45 out of 50 states have at least one cryptocurrency ATM, with California leading with 475. That's a lot of ATM machines.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, once upon a time, we had some Bitcoin ATMs. Are we still holding on to
do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are we still looking for people to find some homes for?
I think we still have some left, yeah. A lot of them went to New Hampshire, the Free or Die state with the Home of the Free State Project and Free Talk Live. And if you have some, send Jason at Bitcoin.com an email.
Make sure you actually have a business, and give them like a proper reason for actually wanting to entertain your idea. We got a few crazy ones that were just like, hey, I know where a mall is. It's like, do you have a deal with this mall? Do you own the mall? So yeah, just have a good game plan when you pitch them an idea. But we're looking for homes for them.
So speaking of good game plans, CoinFlex. What do you know about CoinFlex, Corbin?
I'm actually out of the loop on the CoinFlex side of stuff. I've seen it show up on Twitter a little bit, but I haven't had a chance to do a deep dive on that stuff.
I know quite a bit because I'm one of the investors. So
I did see your name was somehow tied to it, but I figured I'd.
I noticed a lot of the news articles like Roger Veer backed CoinFlex. Like,
what kind of game is that?
It's not a game at all.
Oh.
So it's actual futures, deliverable futures for Bitcoin Cash.
Okay.
And so the founder of it is a guy named Mark Lamb, who's still really young. He's probably 25 at the moment or something like that. And he's been involved in Bitcoin since before he turned 20. He's been involved in Bitcoin for a long time. As a teenager. Really, really smart guy. Just recently relocated from London to Hong Kong. So now he's in a similar time zone. Maybe he'll make it out to Tokyo with us one day. Yeah.
What's Tokyo, Mark?
Yeah. Mark's a blonde guy with, I think, blue eyes. Although I think I'll leave his private life private. But you would be very popular. You would be very popular in Tokyo, Mark.
Oh yeah, you'd be very successful.
Yeah.
With girls.
She said it, not me, Mark. Anyhow, physically delivered Bitcoin Cash futures are coming. And I'm not the only investor. There's a bunch of investors, and most of the investors there are big, giant Bitcoin Cash fans because it actually works as cash, and that's why we got involved in this, because we want to build peer-to-peer electronic cash for the world that can work in every country, everywhere. And Mark's been at it from the very beginning. And he's another one of those examples of one of those people that were like a small blocker, and then he saw the disastrous effects of having a production quota on the amount of block space that can be produced. And in December of 2017, when the fees just went crazy, he's like, oh my God, this was a mistake. And now he's a giant proponent of Bitcoin Cash. And there's a lot of them out there that are just like that. But because there's so much toxicity online, a lot of people are scared to speak up and say, hey, we want peer-to-peer cash for the world, not just store value that doesn't store value.
Right.
So anyhow, Bitcoin Cash is that, and that's why we're busy promoting that here at Bitcoin.com.
So we've got a lot of new viewers and stuff on YouTube. Can you give us a little breakdown on like the whole basics? Explain it like I'm 5. What is a future? What is the purpose of this?
So basically, you can hedge your risk on the future price. So you can buy or sell future Bitcoin Cash in the future. So like, let's say you think the price is going to be higher, the price is going to be lower, you want to lock in your price right now, you can buy or sell it delivered on a future date in the future, so you know for sure what your price is now. So it makes it much, much, much easier for businesses to actually use Bitcoin Cash as a payment mechanism, because they can be, if they know what the future price is, however many days into the future, they can accept payment now, sell it for that future price, and they're guaranteed that they're going to get whatever it is that they've been promised, or everybody can be guaranteed what their price is going to be. So it makes it, basically it kind of turns it into a stable coin, which is really, really great. But the people that still want to speculate on the future price can do that too. So it's like the best of both worlds.
And I'm reading here that this one actually allows you to be paid and it's all like the whole underlying
Instead of sending a
infrastructure's
wire
crypto.
transfer at the end or some credit, they're going to actually
Yeah.
send you the Bitcoin Cash.
So it's not just
so-
tied to like a fiat, USD or euro or something like that.
Right,
It's
so-
actually tied to the crypto.
And so any big business that wants to use this for international payments, it makes it much, much easier. And
Wow.
Mark, come visit us in Tokyo. We'd love to have you on one
great.
week and you can explain all the details because I'm sure Mark is much more knowledgeable about it than I am.
Yeah.
But speaking of easy things,
Yeah.
who likes to travel?
Me?
Me too.
Who likes to travel and pay for it all in Bitcoin Cash?
I've done that a few times.
Even
yeah.
better. So,
Oh, you've done it.
CheapAir,
have, yeah, it's great.
CheapAir.com, thank you very much. They've
Yeah.
re-enabled Bitcoin Cash on their platform. They were one of the first platforms to start accepting
Yeah.
cryptocurrencies. So thank you, CheapAir, for that. You can book flights and hotels and car rentals.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
you're
cool.
all-in-one vacation package in Bitcoin Cash.
I'd like to highlight that their support on their website as well is really amazing. I
You've
had to deal
used
with
them a bunch,
yeah,
right?
I've
Yeah.
had to deal with some like last minute flight changes and stuff like that, and their support people were 10 out of 10. So
I've used them a couple of
Yeah.
times too, and it was smooth. It worked
Yeah.
great.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. So thank you, thank
my
you,
next trip,
CheapAir.
I'm gonna book from CheapAir.
yeah,
And you
cheapair.com.
should too with your Bitcoin Cash, cheapair.com. So if you're really nerdy,
Who's Nadi?
I might be a
You
little bit
are?
nerdy. Yeah.
did
I mean,
you say
you?
nerdy or naughty?
Oh, no, I said Nadi, not Natty.
I can't tell which one she's saying.
Nadi.
Naughty?
Nadi.
Nerdy?
Nadi.
Like, "Meh."
Yeah, this is Nadi, right?
Nerdy, okay.
Nadi,
What was
right?
let's hear the pronunciation of the other one.
And Nati is like that.
So next week we'll give
sexual,
English lesson. Hey. Stay on topic. The dev meeting, it's all on YouTube. You can watch the entire thing. I think it's an hour and 40
Yeah.
minutes. I sat through the whole thing, watched on like 1 3/4 speed
Yeah.
on YouTube. Lots of great things. One of the things that I'm the most excited about is they're gonna, right now you can only have 25
Chain
unconfirmed transactions
Yeah.
in chained in a row.
Yeah.
We need to raise that number because we have something we've been doing here at the Bitcoin.com office. We keep bumping into that limit.
Yeah. So shout out to the developers of the protocol. Where I think any online gaming application that's using chain transactions, if we can up that limit ASAP, and it sounds like according to this meeting, it's happening very
It's doable,
soon.
but we would like to ask. So I think the people in the meeting were our own Emil Oldenburg of
Yeah.
Bitcoin.com, Omri Sachet, Chris Pacia, Mengarian, I forget his real name.
Anthony.
Anthony,
Yeah.
that's it. So, and maybe one or two more.
Yeah.
So the host guy, I feel horrible. He keeps a low profile. So
Yeah, he probably doesn't even want us to mention it. He's kind of under the radar kind of guy.
But anyhow, it's on YouTube. So Mark Lundberg. Oh, we have it right here on our list. Omri Sachet, Chris Pacia, Emma Oldenburg, Mark Lundberg, and others covering key topics for the next upgrade coming later this year. So thank you, BCH devs, for having a good understanding of economics and business needs for cryptocurrency.
And if you're curious about the whole roadmap, visit bitcoincash.org. They've got the whole outline of kind of the whole game plan for how to scale Bitcoin Cash to global peer-to-peer cash for the whole world. So everyone being able to spend 50 transactions per day and allowing that to kind of happen instantly and everything that we've kind of expected from Bitcoin from day one. So, yeah.
And so another thing that's on the list here, BCHd releases their 2019 roadmap. I don't know much about BCHd, but Chris Pacia is the main
company,
guy behind it.
or?
So it's a full node implementation of Bitcoin Cash.
So explain it like I'm 5. What is a full node implementation?
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, so basically what makes Bitcoin Cash so magical and allows you to be able to send and receive it with anyone, anywhere in the world and not be stopped by a government
Right.
is that there isn't any central server that it runs on.
Right,
It's all of these
decentralized.
computers around the world that have a full copy of every single transaction that's ever happened with Bitcoin Cash. And it's on thousands or tens of thousands of computers around the world. And there's different versions of that software that keeps track of every single transaction. One of which is Bitcoin Cash ABC. Another one is called Bitcoin Unlimited. And another new one is BCHd. And there's like 3 or 4 other popular ones
Yeah, there's
out
been
there
a
as
couple
well.
more that have popped out recently. I think
wow.
last week we
Bitcoin
mentioned,
from the Purse.io guys is another.
or
There's
they
Bitcoin
called it
Verde.
Bcash. They did
Bcash
which
is
is the fork of Bitcoin. And then this new one, Bitcoin Verde.
Yep.
I think there's a couple other ones in there too.
But I want to talk a little bit more about Chris Pacia
Yeah.
here because like that guy gets it. So just earlier this afternoon I was reading a little tweet thread that he had there, and he was talking about Friedrich Hayek, who's like a famous Austrian economist and won the Nobel Prize back in like the late 70s.
I see.
And basically he was talking about how like prices transmit information, and if you don't have a pricing system you have no idea what goods should be allocated to produce what goods. And so like there's absolutely no way, even in theory, that like politicians commanding the economy can figure out the most efficient way to use resources, whereas with prices and a free market pricing system, you know exactly what goods should be used to produce what other goods. And he was talking about that, and that's another example of like somebody clearly that studied economics in order to understand those concepts realizes that the block size limit is a production quota on the amount of block space, and that's why Chris Pacia is a big giant fan of Bitcoin Cash, because it doesn't have this centrally planned production quota that leads to economically inefficient outcomes, which is the giant problem with BTC right now. Bitcoin Cash doesn't have it, and so here's an example of someone clearly who studied economics who likes Bitcoin Cash. So myself included, and pretty much it's such a clear dividing line. Like the people who haven't studied economics, they love BTC just because they think that they're going to get rich because more people come by it later. All the people that have studied economics are giant fans of things that actually work as money, like Bitcoin Cash. So shout out to Chris for being awesome. OpenBazaar is awesome. If you haven't tried OpenBazaar, go and try it. It's another decentralized system in which you can buy and sell anything, and I mean anything, right now with Bitcoin Cash, of course, and a number of other cryptocurrencies right there. One of them, it might have been Chris or somebody else from OpenBazaar, was telling me about a support ticket they got from some woman that was looking at the stuff for sale on OpenBazaar, and she was like looking for like kitchen stuff, and she sent in a support ticket. She's like, "Did you know that people are selling heroin on your website?" Like,
that's great. Free market.
If you like it, go for it. So I thought that was pretty funny. So
I should jump in. When Roger starts talking about economics on video, this isn't just on video that he's doing this. This is like Roger lives and breathes this stuff.
It makes the world go round.
Yeah,
it's so
I mean,
interesting.
For Christmas, what Roger did, instead of everyone getting a little Christmas
I'm gonna grab
stocking,
one off camera here.
We all got a copy. Everyone at Bitcoin.com received a copy.
Or a
of
Christmas
economics.
present from
Economics in One Lesson by Henry Hazlitt. Maybe there's even a Japanese version that'll be even easier for you to read. But like, this book will change your life. You read this book and you'll have a much better understanding of how the world works. And he's off camera. I'll repeat what he says. Makoto, how did we buy all these books? Every single person at Bitcoin.com got one of these for Christmas. How did we buy these, Makoto?
From Purse.io using Bitcoin Cash.
And for those that
Bitcoin
can't hear what he
Cash.
said we bought them all on Purse.io using Bitcoin Cash. And what discount rate did we get?
15%.
15% off.
that's
And we bought like
huge.
100 copies of these books to give to everybody. 15% off using Bitcoin Cash. Fantastic book. Go on Purse.io. You can buy it hard copy or on Kindle. It says bestseller, over 1 million copies sold. This book is fantastic, and if you read it, you'll have a deeper understanding of the way the world works.
When this book was written?
I think it was written probably in the 60s, and it has
60s?
it was written a while ago, yeah. So, and on the back it has a foreword or a little quote from both Milton Friedman, Frederick Hayek, and Henry Hazlitt, the author of the book himself. It says Henry Hazlitt died in 1993, born in 1894. He says was a libertarian philosopher, an economist, and a journalist. He was the founding vice president of the Foundation for Economic Education and an early editor of the Freeman magazine, an influential libertarian publication. So I actually didn't know that he was the founding vice president of the Foundation for Economic Education, which is that same organization that I donated over $1 million to back in, what year was it now? 2013, I think it was, that I gave them over $1 million because. And he said he was an early editor of the Freeman magazine. The way I heard about the Foundation for Economic Education is because somehow I wound up with a subscription to the Freeman magazine when I was a high school student. I was reading the articles in there from people like Henry Hazlitt, and Doug Bondeau was another, and there were a bunch in there. It's been a long time now, but it really shaped my view of the world and helped me understand economics and helped me understand why Bitcoin was going to be so important to the world so much earlier than other people. So anyhow, here's our pitch for the day. In addition to playing games and doing other stuff on Bitcoin.com, go and buy Economics in One Lesson by Henry Hazlitt. It is a fantastic book.
It's very much beginner friendly. If you don't have to be an economics nerd to get into it. One of my favorite lessons in there is the broken window fallacy.
Yeah, and so many people fall for it. Like for those that don't know, the broken window fallacy is basically like if someone breaks a window, they think, oh, well then the owner of the shop that had a broken window has to go and spend money, and then like he has to buy a new window, and then the guy who makes the windows has more money, and then the guy who makes the windows goes and buys shoes, and then the shoemaker has more money, and they say it goes on and stimulates the economy. You hear the broken window fallacy all the time in regards to war. People say, oh, war is good for the economy. It
stimulates the economy,
No, it doesn't, because like one of my other favorite economists, Frederick Bastiat, says you have to take into account not only what is seen, which is like the window is broken and then the window maker gets more money and this and that, you have to take into account what is not seen. And what is not seen is what the owner of the shop that potentially had a broken window, what would he have done with that money otherwise? What he would have done otherwise is maybe he would have bought like a new bread making machine and he could produce more bread every day or produce the bread cheaper, and then other people have more money because they didn't have to spend as much money on bread because the bread is cheaper, and then because those people have more money, they can then go and invest it or spend it on other things to improve their life. So all that stuff winds up happening that's not seen because the window was broken, but the world winds up being a richer place. So with war, you see very clearly, all the military gun and tank manufacturers, they make a bunch of money and they pay their employees, and lots of new tanks and airplanes and guns come into existence. But what would have happened if that money hadn't been allocated that way is all sorts of other businesses would have produced consumer goods like new houses or cars for people to actually drive, or food for people to eat, or clothes for people to wear. And all that stuff didn't come into existence because the war machine was doing its thing. And you hear all these people all the time saying war is good for the economy. No, it is not. War slows down the rate of economic growth of the entire world and impoverishes everybody. And if you read this book, you'll understand that, and you'd see a lot fewer people espousing the broken window fallacy. So anyhow, end of the economics rant, but read the book and you'll understand the world better, and the world will be a better place because more people understand how it works. So I'll see if I can find some Japanese copies.
Please, that would be
for you guys
helpful.
as well, 'cause
No, it's gonna take forever for us to read it.
right. And like I can read Japanese, but really, really slowly, and like
so much more time.
I would not want to read this in Japanese.
You should.
And in English, it's even in reading in your native language is definitely the way to go. So, and I'm sure we can get a copy in Japanese. In fact, downstairs we have
I'm gonna look it up.
what is it? David Friedman's book, The Machinery of Freedom. We have some copies of those around in Japanese, I think, somewhere in the office as well. So, but what's next on our news list? We'll ask
Bitcoin
Oscar.
Cash transaction fees under 1 cent in 2018. Throughout the majority of 2018, miner fees have been consistently inexpensive on BCH, with the median average each day not surpassing a US penny in 10 months.
So I want to give Oscar credit for being able to read so well in English. Like when I try and
Thank
read
you.
Japanese, like I
No,
would
but
not
your
be-
Japanese is amazing.
Great.
It's good, but like speaking and listening is different than reading. Like I would have read that much more
If you
slowly
say
in
speaking
Japanese.
is more easy than
I think so. For you too, right?
no.
You can read English better than you can speak English?
Yeah. No.
No, I think no.
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 Sorry, never mind.
Anyhow, another example of like why the economics are so important. Like the higher the fees become on any cryptocurrency, the bigger an incentive there is for people to start using a different cryptocurrency. So when I saw these people talking about popping the champagne because of the high fees on BTC, anybody with any economic sense or anybody who's read this book would realize that that's just a giant incentive for people to start using something other than BTC, which is why at that point, everybody at Bitcoin.com and the entire organization and at Purse.io and at tons of other businesses, we switched all of our infrastructure and all of our gear and all of our stuff over to Bitcoin Cash because the fees are consistently fast, cheap, and reliable on Bitcoin Cash. So
we should mention on September 1st, miners processed 2.2 million transactions in 24 hours, shattering BTC's milestones in December of 2017. And that previous milestone, the BTC chain processed a little over 400,000 transactions per day that month. So it's very clear, based on the statistics, based on the economics.
2.2 million versus 400,000, right?
Yeah.
So that's over 5 times as many transactions in a single day.
Got room to
Bitcoin
grow.
Cash. Yeah.
It's incredible. I mean, I think the there's a lot of exciting stuff going on. Even like yesterday, we had a guest in the office, and we were curious. What's it cost to actually just create a token on SLP? I think it was like 238 satoshis.
Yeah, so like a 20th of a penny or so.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's what it should have always been.
For those that don't know, SLP is a simple ledger protocol, which is a token thing. Did it not make it into our list here? We got to talk about.
We should always talk about
but we're gonna jump ahead here. So tokens have arrived to Bitcoin Cash, big time. Badger.bitcoin.com is the best and easiest to use token wallet for Bitcoin Cash. Get it at badger.bitcoin.com. You can send and receive tokens. You can't make tokens within that wallet, but you can send and receive any tokens that anybody's made. Badger.bitcoin.com. Try the Badger wallet today. We were using it in the office the last 2 days.
Yeah.
Wow. I thought our Bitcoin.com mobile wallet was pretty decent. Like, Badger wallet's so much snappier and faster and better on desktop than the Bitcoin.com main wallet. Like, wow.
Well, I think the ability for it to tie in with the Badger button, which is kind of the money button killer, is what they're kind of labeling it
what
as.
money button you're talking about. We're Badger button, baby.
Badger button. That's where we're at now. So yeah, if you have a website and you are looking to accept tips, or if you're building a Bitcoin Cash game, you can easily set up this little Badger button that ties into the Chrome or Firefox extension. Another cool thing because it's built as a Chrome extension, Brave recently released or changed out their browser. And Brave, for those of you guys don't know, that's this really lightweight, amazing browser. It basically turns off all of the ads, turns off everything, and they've got their own little token built in called, I think, BOT, Basic Attention Token.
Oh, I didn't know that Brave browser and the BAT token were.
Yeah,
oh,
those are married together.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so what's cool though is because Brave now allows you to install extensions using any of the Chrome extensions. That means you can now bring Badger wallet into into Brave basically, and have your Badger wallet playing beside your Basic Attention token if you're trying to earn money and tipping content creators.
Seems like they should
that.
make a Basic Attention token on the Bitcoin Cash network.
I think we might have to push those guys. Yeah. So yeah, the interesting thing, Badger.Bitcoin.com. They've also they've got Cash ID added into the wallet, which allows you to basically log into websites and log into applications using the wallet that's right there in your browser. They are working towards adding cash accounts, which is the kind of cool thing that was announced recently. Cashaccount.info. I think you just registered for a cash account, didn't you?
Yeah, just did.
Yeah. What was your name on it?
Iris Aska.
Yeah.
She didn't make it in time for last week's show to be on, but it's
due
ready
today.
now,
Yeah.
and it'll be in this one. In fact, we're going to put it on the screen right now. So if you want to send her a tip,
waiting.
there's her cash ID.
What emoji did you get? What
Mouse?
you got a mouse? I got an
Yeah.
apple.
Oh.
Yeah, it's kind of
I
boring.
won.
Yeah, I wanted something kind of more cool. Like
Yeah,
maybe
right?
like-
Yeah.
I don't even know what
Pikachu
mine
or-
is. It's something or something. So.
Yeah, I believe.
Yeah,
the
what did you
emoji-
get, Roger?
I'll have to double check. I looked like some
kind of
squiggles.
animal, right?
No,
Some squiggles.
I didn't recognize what it was. Maybe I have to go back and double
Okay.
check.
Yeah.
So I forget my number. It was Roger Veer 449 or something. I'll double check.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyhow, LibertyCon 19
Mm-hmm.
in Washington D.C. That doesn't
Are you
seem like
going?
the right place. No, I'm not going. I've never been to Washington D.C. in my life, and I'm never going to Washington
It's like a
D.C.
hell to you.
But apparently, Bitcoin.com will have some representatives
Yeah.
there. Apparently.
But you're the CEO.
Yeah, they're going to give up to $100 in person to over 1,000 attendees during the opening night's main stage kickoff at LibertyCon. So,
Sounds like a lot of status getting a lot of free BCH.
well, it's LibertyCon, so I don't know
Oh,
why.
okay, they'll hopefully be libertarian.
I think it's probably a Liberty-related festival, and Liberty
Oh,
needs to be
that's kind
defined.
of ironic, right? Because LibertyCon
Maybe they're taking
is
over
gonna
Washington.
Be,
We could hope.
Yeah, they're kind of maybe flexing their muscles a little
I
bit
see,
and
I
kind of
see.
trying to scare the state. That's my guess.
Yeah,
Go
so
for it.
Good for them.
I guess I guess I should tell a libertarian joke.
Sure,
on
let's
air.
hear it.
Yeah.
So, what? Corbin's already laughing.
Oh, I think
because
I
he
think
knows the
you already
joke.
You know
already
what?
hit with this
We'll
one.
ask the Japanese ladies here. So,
Okay.
what do Mexicans think about the wall that Trump wants to build?
They hate it, obviously.
I think so too.
They'll get over it.
So bad. So bad. So bad.
Oh, I couldn't get it, sorry.
Oh, this got play on words.
Oh, sorry,
In English,
okay.
when you say you'll get over it, it's like, nah, don't worry about it.
そういうことね。わかったわかった。
But it also means
They'll
they'll get
climb
over
over
it.
it.
And so I want to
Two
give
meanings. Sorry.
English
You
is
didn't
hard
learn
and
well
Japanese
for
is hard.
sorry.
This is
And
why
I
most
wanna give a
Canadians
shout
come to Japan, I think.
Yeah.
I want to
You're
give a
gonna
shout
kill all
out
their jokes.
to the source of that joke. I saw it on Twitter today from Sal the Agorist. Has a
Yeah.
fantastic Twitter account that's just filled with all sorts of really fun liberty-oriented jokes and memes. So thank you, Sal the Agorist, for having such an awesome
You
Twitter
had
feed.
Roger in stitches.
I
today.
saw that one today. I thought it was pretty funny. So, actually, maybe we should tell one
gonna
more that
get
he has
over
on there.
it.
He has the people on the left are trying to take away the guns from everybody, and the people on the right are trying to build a wall around the whole place. And then, if you take away the guns from everybody and build a wall around them, that sounds like a prison. All right, they're trying to build a prison.
So
So anyhow, check out that Twitter account, Sal the Agorist on Twitter. I really enjoy
So
it.
hypothetically, you are no longer an American. So if another American is watching this that no longer wants to be an American, what is that process like?
Oh yeah.
You can pay for the entire thing in
Interesting.
cryptocurrency now from multiple different places. The hardest part is getting citizenship somewhere else. Once you have that, the second hardest part is dealing with the exit tax bureaucracy with the U.S.
Right.
And there's a fantastic law firm. There's a bunch of law firms that specialize in that sort of thing because there are a lot of Americans that don't want to be American anymore. I'm not the only one. There's lots. So if you were lucky enough to be born Canadian or some country outside the U.S., good for you. If you were unfortunate enough to be born an American and not living in the U.S. anymore, not want to be an American anymore.
Is there any fee to like cancel citizenship as an
Yes, and they keep raising it. So when I renounced, I think the fee was like $420. And the guy at the U.S. Embassy, he asked me, he said, do you want to pay by cash, credit card, or Bitcoin? And I looked at him and I said,
Bitcoin Cash?
Well, this was a long time ago now. This is 2014. And I asked him, I said, how do you know I would be interested in paying in Bitcoin? He goes, oh, we know all about you.
Oh, wow, that's kind of scary, isn't it?
It was kind of scary. And then I said, well, can I really pay in Bitcoin? He goes, no, I was just kidding. So I wound up, I had to pay with a credit card. But back then it was now they raised it. It's like $2,000 something now. Yeah. Yeah,
to be not American anymore.
Yeah, and the thing that was really shocking for me is you're not telling them that you're stopping being an American, you're asking for permission to stop being an American. And I asked the guy at the embassy, I said,
can I not be American?
Yeah, you're asking for permission to stop being American. I said, have you ever seen anybody have that permission request denied? And he goes, oh yeah, it happens all the time.
Is the process really at all like when people try to immigrate in, where they have to like swear on the Bible or swear on like some sort of state law that they're going to be like pledge allegiance and stuff? It's been 5 years now, so I don't remember it super clearly. But like there's definitely some forms and paperwork I had to fill out and this and that. And I remember he had a script that he had to read to me and caution me. He goes, did you know that if you renounce your U.S. citizenship, you won't be allowed to collect Social Security? And for anybody that doesn't know, Social Security is this retirement Ponzi scheme in the U.S.
Yeah, Ponzi scheme.
You're forced to participate in. If you don't participate in it, you go to jail.
It's like a pension, right?
Yeah, but you go to jail if you don't participate. So it's an involuntary pension system. Yeah. And if you do the math, like you basically just get absolutely obliterated with the amount of money that you put in.
If you were to put that money in your own like private savings,
even if you put the money under the mattress and collected zero interest, you'd probably still come out ahead depending on how many years you live for. It's really just an absolute horrible system.
Sounds like
and
slavery.
Read this book to understand why it's so horrible. And another great book that talks about it directly is Free to Choose by Milton Friedman. It's another great book that talks about that sort of thing as well. And what else? They will caution me by saying, if you renounce your U.S. citizenship, you won't be allowed to vote. I've been a felon for about 20 years now, so I haven't been allowed to vote for 20 years, and philosophically, I'm not interested in voting anyhow. So.
Wait, maybe I'm being stupid here. I thought you could only not vote while you were in prison.
No, forever.
They cut you. They just say you're done.
So once you are in jail,
yeah,
you have no right to vote anymore?
If you get a felony at the state level, I think you're still allowed to vote. Or
but if it's federal, you're...
It might depend state by state, but federal, you can only get a pardon. So,
no way.
So Donald Trump, if you're watching, if you want to give me a pardon, I'm not going to say no, but I'm not going to hold my breath either.
Yeah. While we're asking for pardons, maybe look at freeross.org.
Yeah, they crossed what, 120,000 signatures, and that's somebody who genuinely does need a pardon. If I get a pardon, my life's a little bit easier. If Ross is in federal prison, a really rough one, and he's been there for a while now. I think about 5 years now. That guy, and he's condemned to die in prison unless he gets a pardon.
Who's Ross?
So Ross is the founder of the Silk Road, which was a website that allowed people to buy and sell anything that's peaceful. Anything that's sole purpose wasn't to harm somebody else, you could buy and sell it. And my tweet last night was in regards to that. Basically said his goal is to use economics to create a world in which you minimize the amount of coercion that's taking place. And he said it even more eloquently than that. We can put that exact quote on the screen right now so you can see it for yourself. But
are you able to comment at all on one of our former employees?
No comment on that one, but we'll have some big comments about that one. Hopefully great comments about that one. So I commented a little bit about it previously, but
interesting.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
We'll stay quiet on that one for now. But anyhow, condemning people to die in prison for having built a website is absolutely despicable. It's horrible that sort of thing would happen in a country that claims to be the land of the free and home of the brave. Ross certainly was a brave one, but he's not a free one today. So let's fix that. And for those of you that bought into the government propaganda, oh, he paid for people to be killed. No, he did not. And in fact, I've been in touch with the guy that the government initially claimed that he wanted to have a hit put out on, which certainly isn't true. Even that guy says I don't believe for a second that Ross wanted to have me killed. And his name's Curtis Green. You can find him on Twitter. I exchanged a couple of text messages with him. I'll try and have a video call with him and record it, and
Yeah,
we'll
that'd
ask
be cool.
him, what do you think about the fact that what the government did to Ross and this and that?
I think people forget, or at least they don't know, that there were some dirty agents as well involved in that
we're
case.
in prison right now for
Yeah.
embezzling a bunch of money and like literally stealing money and extorting money from these dark net
Extorted money.
websites.
They had access to the Dread Pirates account. There was a lot of sneaky business going on between the. It was a couple of agents, and yeah, they're locked away now. But it was stricken from the record. They couldn't
bring
comment
it up
on
at
it
trial
in
at all,
trial.
yeah. But
So it was
That's scary.
right from the get-go. The whole.
The rig was in, yeah.
Yeah,
And I've been
it was
meaning to
crazy.
make a whole separate ranting video about why the police are worse than common criminals, and I'm going to do that at some point. But the short version of that is a common criminal, they break into your house and steal your stuff. They don't pretend that they're your friend and they're here to help you and that you should thank them for robbing you. Whereas through taxes that pay for the police over and over and over again, if you don't pay for the police, you go to jail. How is that different than extortion? Yet the police go and say, "Oh, if it wasn't for us, you would be in trouble in this and that." Like,
Sounds like the
no,
mafia.
no normal robber comes to your house week after week demanding money and saying you should thank them. Only the police do. And I'll make a longer video talking about the different times I've had to deal with the police in my life and had millions of dollars of stuff stolen from me from private criminals. I located my stuff that had been stolen. The police did absolutely nothing to help me. Yet they insist I continue paying for them, year after year, even to this day while I'm not living in the U.S. anymore. So anyhow, I'll make a whole separate video one day on that whole sort of thing. But it's just crazy the world we live in. It's like the Twilight
You've
Zone.
been through a lot.
I've had an interesting life.
Yeah,
strange
right?
life, yeah, I think.
Like we should make a documentary, movie out of his
When are we
life.
gonna get a Roger book?
Yeah, Roger
Yeah.
or Roger movie.
I'm too busy building the tools to bring more economic freedom to the world.
Right.
So for now, tune in every week to this show, and you'll get little bits and pieces of the Roger book on video here. And share the video with a friend if you like it, and subscribe to the channel if you like it so you don't miss our future updates. So speaking of future updates, though, merchant adoption on social media around the world. So
Yeah, so we've the social media team at Bitcoin.com, we're basically reaching out and trying to say any merchants that are accepting Bitcoin Cash, anyone that's looking at adding BitPay or any integration into their website, if you want a little bit of love, you want a little bit of a shout out from the Bitcoin.com team, please tag us, message us on Twitter. We're at Bitcoin.com on Twitter, and yeah, of course, you can always message us as well on Reddit. Visit our BTC, that's the uncensored Bitcoin Reddit, and of course, yeah, make sure if you're a merchant, add your store to Marco Coino, accept Bitcoin.cash, greenpages.cash, and we're actually working on another one here at Bitcoin.com. We're hoping to get some more developer projects listed, as well as all of the merchants and both online and in real life.
And if you're a developer, especially if you've read this book or have an understanding of economics, head on over to developer.bitcoin.com. We have all the tools there to make it super easy for you to build the additional tools to bring more economic freedom to the world, because that's what this is all about. So.
Okay, this next one's pretty cool. I got pretty excited when they added this.
Yeah, me too.
This is big. So BitPay, they added multi-coin settlements, and I think the interesting thing with this is that they added support for 3 stablecoins.
3, not 1, not 2, kind of 1, 2, 3 stable coins. That's a big
So
deal.
they've got GUSD, USDC, and then PAX, and in addition to BCH.
Bitcoin Cash, of course, yeah, and then
they're
some
still
other high fee
supporting
coin.
BTC,
So.
Yeah. And so a huge shout out to BitPay. I think the interesting thing with this is this allows merchants online to kind of escape a little bit of the volatility if they want to try.
Not only that, but here, so we're working with some really, really big merchants here in Japan, and we were trying to figure out what the best Bitcoin Cash payment system for them would be for their online thing. And like, there isn't really a good Japanese one that could settle in Japanese yen for them. But now we can use BitPay. We can have BitPay settle with the Japanese merchant in one of the US dollar stable coins, but then sell the US dollar stable coins for Japanese yen on a domestic Japanese exchange, and they can get yen, but they can use BitPay for the checkout. So this is a super smart move by BitPay to make it super easy for anybody in the world to use BitPay as their merchant processor for their online stuff. So BitPay's been around since like 2011. BitPay is one of the companies that's done more to spread cryptocurrency adoption than anybody else. If you have a business and want to start accepting cryptocurrencies, set up BitPay today. It's fantastic. They've been around a long time. They are true believers in the message of bringing more economic freedom to the entire world, and one of the very first to add Bitcoin Cash to their platform because they believe and they understand that the transactions need to be fast, cheap, and reliable, and Bitcoin Cash offers that.
If you were sitting on the fence and were kind of reluctant or maybe scared to begin accepting Bitcoin online, this is definitely the way forward, and I think this new feature that they've added really gives the merchant a little bit more control over their risk tolerance.
And it's really neat. So you can accept both BCH and some high-fee coin called BTC using BitPay. But in the back end, well, you can do exactly that. So for example, if you head on over to store.bitcoin.com, if you want some awesome shirts like the ones all of us are wearing today, aren't these wonderful? I think their shirts look better than our shirts.
I wouldn't look good in that.
But they wouldn't look as good on us. Yeah.
Like your tummy is like hanging out.
But if you want to buy this sort of stuff, you can head on over to store.bitcoin.com. I think we still have it enabled. You can pay them either BTC or BCH, but what BitPay does in the back end for us, anybody that has some of that high-fee BTC laying around, you can buy your awesome shirts. BitPay instantly converts to Bitcoin Cash for us, and we get paid in Bitcoin Cash, even though the customer paid in BTC. So you can do that over at store.bitcoin.com right now. So those look really good on you guys.
Yeah,
Not
I love
nearly
it.
as good
It's
on me and
cute.
Corbin. So
Yeah.
What does Cash Gang girls?
Yeah, so
What does it mean?
if you haven't seen the video of the
No.
Cash,
Oh.
BCH gang, is if you go on YouTube and search for Bitcoin Cash, where the S in cash is a
funny.
$sign, there's an awesome music video, and that's the origin of these shirts.
Yeah, Lil Windex. He's. We're hoping maybe we can see some more of him in 2019 if we can.
We'd love to see a Cash Gang Girls video.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
we
you
are
have some
saying we should
volunteers
make
ready for.
Japanese version.
Maybe we should get him to come out to Japan.
Come out to Japan. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fun.
That could be very fun.
We'll see what we can do on that front. So we talked about badger.bitcoin.com. That Badger wallet, like I knew of it. It was being worked on a little bit for like a month or two here, and didn't really care because I was like, we have the Bitcoin.com wallet. What do we need to know? Oh my God, I was wrong. The Badger wallet is awesome. If you have not tried it, like.
And there's some great devs. We should shout out to Drew, shout out to Gabriel, shout out to Chris, shout out to
everyone who's been working on that. And shout out to the original creators of what the heck was it?
MetaMask.
MetaMask, yeah. For creating it, because it's a fork of MetaMask. So thank you to thank you Ethereum guys for being awesome and like building these awesome tools for the world.
Yeah.
Like everybody here, I think that's why the Ethereum people and the Bitcoin Cash people and the Dash people, they all like each other and get along so well, because we're all trying to build tools to bring more economic freedom to the world. And I feel like there's not much of that at all in that other BTC chain.
It's that cult mentality. It's maximalism, and it's
people that are offended by pretty girls being on video with us promoting economic freedom to the world. So.
Oh, don't be jealous.
Don't be jealous. You heard it.
So this next one's kind of some crazier news, but I guess to be expected. Coinbase, they suspended Ethereum Classic after a 51% attack. So on January 5th, 2019, Coinbase detected a deep chain reorg of the Ethereum Classic blockchain that included a double spend. Traders who attempted to send or receive ETC using Coinbase's platform were unable to complete said transactions as a result of the response. I believe Kraken is still allowing trading of ETC, whereas Coinbase is not. And I think, again, it's just different markets. I think this is the great thing with free market as well, is risk tolerance of one company might be different than another, and it allows ETC to hopefully recover and bounce back after this. There was a lot of talk online that this is one of the threats of being a minority fork of a chain, and
that shares the same POW.
Yeah, and people were commenting saying, you know, how do we feel about Bitcoin Cash being a minority fork, and are we at risk? And I think what happened here on November 15th
showed that maybe there's a risk, but the risk isn't hasn't been a problem so far.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing though too, like, so I noticed like what's the exchange? Bitfinex, right? They haven't been particularly Bitcoin Cash friendly, and I noticed that they're requiring 30 confirmations for Bitcoin Cash deposits. But like, thanks to this checkpoint that's 10 blocks back on Bitcoin Cash, you're never going to have a reorg of more than 10 blocks. So just set your deposit threshold to be 11 blocks, and you're fine for any exchange. So Bitfinex or anybody else that's requiring more than 11 confirmations on Bitcoin Cash, change it to 11. And if you're a dev out there, if I got something wrong, feel free to correct me, but that's my understanding of the situation at the moment. Have you ever used Ethereum Classic? Or
I've never used Ethereum Classic, no. I've used Ethereum a little bit. I remember watching the drama all unfold when they kind of recovered after the stolen funds, and kind of Ethereum became the fork, but it became the majority fork.
Interesting too that they kept the name, and so because I think a strong argument could be made that like Ethereum Classic is the original Ethereum chain, pretty clearly, but the social consensus overwhelmed that. Just kind of like with Bitcoin Cash. Like if you look at it objectively, like Bitcoin Cash has way more Bitcoin-ness about it than the thing that everybody's calling Bitcoin today. But the social consensus kind of overwhelmed that. So now it's okay. We have Bitcoin Cash now.
We punch up. I like it.
Yeah,
I like being the underdog.
We have a nice gang here.
Yeah, got a great gang.
So, and that brings me to actually one other thing that's kind of related. So like in the past, people have talked on Bitcoin about like changing the proof of work and this and that. There's a lot of that going on in the Ethereum ecosystem right now. Like I want to point out to people that like, I don't think changing the and they're mad about people having ASICs and mining cryptocurrencies with ASICs. Like that changing the proof of work because ASICs come around, I think is a really, really bad idea. And I think it's a really, really bad idea because the ASIC miners, the miners are the ones with the most skin in the game and the most reason to support your coin and the most reason and effort to want to see that coin succeed because they spent a bunch of money to build ASICs and they bought the ASICs and they're mining with ASICs. Like if you change the proof of work, that's like pulling the rug right out from under them. And now they're no longer incentivized to support your coin or to promote your ecosystem. So like I think changing the proof of work on any coin when you have even a bunch of people with ASICs, that's a disaster because the people doing the mining, those are the ones that are the most devoted to that coin. And that
Off
token.
the top of my head, I know that there was a couple crazy times where this happened. Like I think it was Monero that had that happen. Where
just recently.
Just recently, and then they ended up at one point having 3 forks of Monero. And again, it's just people trying to manipulate the situation to keep the people with the most skin in the game and the people actually developing these new ASIC miners to come in
and there's some claims online, and I didn't look into them deeply, but there's claims that NVIDIA basically has been busy lobbying Ethereum to change their proof of work to a mechanism that's super friendly to NVIDIA GPUs. Which that sounds really reasonable from a business standpoint. If you're a GPU manufacturer and you can convince one of the biggest, the second biggest mineable cryptocurrency in the world to switch to an algorithm that uses your hardware that you're busy selling to the world, that's an awesome return on investment. If you spend a few $1,000,000 trying to persuade that and you sell hundreds of millions or billions of dollars worth of hardware, so like don't think that like traditional businesses won't come in and try and covertly manipulate cryptocurrencies. Like it seems like something like that has happened along the lines of Bitcoin. The IRS came out with a ruling that Bitcoin's not money, it's a commodity, and you shouldn't use it as money and this and that. And then shortly thereafter, Blockstream comes out with a bunch of money from traditional finance companies, and suddenly they're towing the same line as the IRS and saying Bitcoin shouldn't be used as money, it should be a commodity. And like, why are you going to toe the IRS's line? Like they're not friends of anybody. So I don't think it's a conspiracy theory to think that sort of thing could happen to cryptocurrencies. So watch out and don't believe fake news that you see online, and think for yourself about everything you read everywhere. So don't just believe it because somebody in a presumed position of authority told you so. Like,
is there any fake news in Japan? I don't read much Japanese news, but is there a lot
all
of
the time? All the time.
Tell us what's a crazy example of something that turned out to be fake in the news in Japan?
Like recently?
Or not so recently. There's your
Well,
Japanese
well,
lessons.
that's it.
Nandero means what about it?
Yeah. Well, there's always fake news about celebrities, right?
Gossips.
Yeah, they always like sensationalize, that
I
thing.
have the same issue.
Yeah.
Which I guess brings us to the viewer comments. So,
Viewer comments. JD McNew. Longtime crypto advocate, converted anarchist ever since I discovered Bitcoin. Big fan of all your work, Roger. Thank you for promoting economic freedom by supporting projects and ideas that enhance it. Hope to build my own token on top of BCH someday soon.
We can do that today with the token. So I want to talk about the word anarchist. What does anarchist mean to people in Japanese?
Anarchist, like somebody crazy?
Really?
Well, what does it mean to you? It's the first time you hear that word?
I've never heard that.
And unfortunately, even in the West, like kind of the image of like anarchist is like someone wearing a black mask and like destroying Starbucks or
Sex
something.
Pistols.
Yeah.
I think Sex Pistols is before even I was like old enough to know. That's some old band, isn't it? You're younger than me. I've heard of it.
No,
That's all I know.
yeah, punk rock.
Yeah.
So anarchist, the root word anarchy, it just means without rulers. It doesn't mean without rules, it means without rulers. And I think, if anything, anarchists like rules even more than people that aren't anarchists. So like the anarchists think that the rules apply to everybody in every situation, and there aren't exceptions for people calling themselves government. The rules apply to everybody all the time. And whereas the people that aren't anarchists, they think, oh, the rules apply for some people, but like if you're a cop, you can have a gun and shoot people's dogs and nothing bad needs to happen to you. Or if you use a white powder, you could go to jail. But if you're like a president of the United States and use a white powder, that's no problem, right? So like it's, you know,
So unfair.
so unfair. So anarchists think the rules apply to everybody, and there should be lots of very stringent and adhered to rules, but there shouldn't be rulers. And the difference between a rule and a ruler, we know what a rule is. A ruler is somebody that the rules don't apply to. Anyhow, thank you, JD McNew. Glad to hear it. And to be honest, I'm not really a fan of the word anarchist because people think crazy people
it's kind of got sullied
blowing
a
up
little
Starbucks
Yeah.
and this and that. I like the word voluntarist, which is basically means that the rule should be that all human interaction should be on a voluntary basis or not at all. So I'm a big fan of that, and I'm sure Sal, the agorist on Twitter that I mentioned earlier, he likes and agorism. I'm guessing that neither of you know what that word is either, right?
What is it? Oh,
It's not written here,
Oh,
but
okay.
agorism is
Algorithm.
basically
Algorithm.
R and L is the same in Japanese, so an algorithm is different than agorism, but close. So, agorism is basically just going about your business outside the purview of the state, and I'm a big giant fan of that as well. So live your life, do whatever you want, so long as it's peaceful. Have at it. So,
Kamugi, do you want to take over this one?
From Real Bradbury.
Yep.
I watched because I enjoy the positive vibes, and I also downloaded the apps and follow companies you mentioned on Twitter. Keep it up and drop in a few Japanese words.
Let's drop in a Japanese word form. What should we teach Will?
何がいいかな?
何がいいかな?
There
There you go. That's a very common phrase in Japanese. 何がいいかな?
何が
That
いいかな
means,
どういう意味だ
how would you translate that in English?
何がいいかな? Oh, なんだろう. Which one?
What's good?
Ah,
Yeah, what should I do?
Yeah,
What's
what
a
should
good
I
one?
do? Yeah.
Yeah,
何
so
がいいかな?
No, you can use this like phrase like
when you're
many
deciding.
places, like when you go to a restaurant.
Oh,
It's
if
like,
I'm like looking at the menu.
yeah, 何がいいかな? It's like, which one should I pick?
The literal meaning, I guess, is like which one is good.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
what-
yeah.
what is good?
Yeah, what is good?
What
何
is
がいい
good?
か
So,
な?
and you can use it all the time. So there's your Japanese lesson for the day. If you want to tip them, we already have Asuka's cash ID. You need to hurry up and make yours.
Oh, I
So-
created.
You create? Well, you didn't
Yeah.
send it to me yet. So,
I sent to you.
oh, then maybe I didn't check it.
Oh.
We'll make sure we get it in the video if you
Okay.
did send it to me. So, Asuka gets to handle the next one from Barry.
I always like listening to you, Roger, and those around you who can communicate politely and effectively. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Barry
I
Dutton
think
sells
that's a little
homes.
thank you to you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I guess we'll give a shout out. Barry Dutton sells home. I'm guessing he's a realtor. If you're looking for a realtor, reach out to Barry Dutton. You can probably even arrange to pay his commission in Bitcoin Cash. I'm
Sure
guessing.
hope so. Yeah. Make it happen,
We are the
Barry.
nation of politeness, right?
Japan is one of the most
Yeah.
polite nations in the world. Like people, I think they're even more polite than Canadians.
Oh, yeah, I think they make Canadians look darn rude. Yeah, yeah.
I like Canadians. They're
Yeah,
pretty
we're okay.
nice. But
Yeah. How do you guys feel when foreigners come here and don't
rude?
follow the customs or accidentally rude or purposefully rude?
well,
Is it weird?
a little bit, but
Yeah.
I think it's nice to have some like many foreigners
Yeah.
to enjoy our country. It's good for economy, so keep it coming.
Yeah.
Keep it coming. So our next two comments are from a Paul Lambert and a Spencer Lambert. I wonder if these two are related.
Brothers, maybe a couple farmer brothers?
Maybe.
Oh, Paul and Spencer.
Yeah. So Paul says, with the IOZeta crypto power, it would be cool to monitor the Eat BCH Bitcoin Cash address and light up a disco ball or something cool like that.
We could do. We were thinking about tying it to the faucets. Anytime we got a faucet donation, we might have something in the office kind of go
That's a
off
good
or
idea.
something. You
Yeah.
know? We could probably.
We don't
do
have
that.
any disco balls yet, but maybe
Merch.io.
maybe Makoto will order one on Purse.io for us. Yeah. So the other Lambert, Spencer, says Roger is correct. The device is running on the chicken. Was it chicken.cash?
Chicken.cash.
And ducks.cash
so
as
funny.
well, maybe, and farm.cash or something
there's
like. There's a bunch of them out there
XYZ.
now.
Yeah.
Are the crypto candy and crypto power from iozeta.com. By the way, the chicken set up 11 people with Bitcoin Cash wallets this week in their weekly live giveaway. So if you want to earn some Bitcoin Cash,
Yeah, you just
How
showed me
amazing
the
is
footage
2019?
of chickens, but they were asleep because nighttime in
Nighttime,
Canada
yeah.
or wherever.
somewhere cold, there's a lot of
Yeah.
snow on the ground there.
If you
so.
know anyone else on Twitch, or if you're a Twitch user, yeah, hop on Twitch. They're live streaming the feeding of these animals, and we're hoping to maybe reach out to some more Twitch live streamers as well to partner up on some pushing a little bit of the
Promotion,
cashgames.bitcoin.com. We've got some.
If you haven't tried it, go
Yeah.
ahead and over to cashgames.bitcoin.com. We have, I think, 7 or 8 different games. You can deposit instantly, play instantly, withdraw instantly. No sign up required, no login at all. just play and have fun. Play responsibly. But if you win, you can withdraw instantly and fantastic, and then go spend the money on Purse.io. If you lose, that's okay, because that means we're going to go and spend that money to build more tools to bring more economic freedom to the entire world and spread the message of the benefits of economic freedom to the world. So it's a win-win situation. Nobody, there's no way that the world can lose by playing at cashgames.bitcoin.com. So go and visit that today. Anything else to add today?
Subscribe.
Like,
Subscribe.
share.
Like, share.
Comment. Leave a question.
Nice comment.
If you have a question,
Respectful comment.
Japan is a polite place, so leave a polite comment.
Like comment.
Like,
Okay,
That's
I
all we
think that's
got.
it. So see everybody next week.
Next week, guys.
See you then.
See ya.
bye.
Let's show off our shirts too.
Oh, yeah,
If you
man.
stayed this long, we have the best fashion in Japan. So there we go.
Is it cute?
Yeah, and you can buy yours at store.bitcoin.com. See everybody next week.
Bye bye.
Bye.